Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Okay, the Roxy Journal of Stitchery Christmas. I've taken a good week of just thinking about all this, and I still don't have my thoughts contained into some plan of attack. So what I decided to do this morning is I've turned on the camera. I'm going to talk it through, sort of get all my ideas out of my head, make a few notes, set a few parameters, and I'm hoping it will sort of set me on a path to what I'm going to create. And I'd love your comments in the comments below, just to sort of anything you think of that maybe I haven't considered, or I don't know, even if it's just sounds great, go for it. You know, just something simple. You don't have to put too much, time into the comments, is guess what I'm trying to say. So what I'm thinking of doing is I definitely want to do the journal style, but I want the journal to open out to become something I can decorate with at Christmas. So that sort of took me along the lines of a wall hanging. And I've already seen a few comments on the Facebook site of people that are tossing around the idea of creating a wall hanging out of all the blocks, which I think is a lovely idea because at least it's up for the month of December and we get to appreciate it every year. So the wall hanging is a cracker of an idea. Excuse me. But it sort of led me to some other thoughts of an advent calendar. Now, advent calendars are usually the month, so 25 days or 12 days. They can really be a mix of all sorts of things. So they can be interactive, so kids can put things in them. I'm a big kid, so maybe I want to put things into it, but I don't think so. But if the girls make us do pockets, tags, things like that, at least it gives me a space that is a little interactive if we have to create some additional things compared to the first 6 months projects. So an advent calendar is where I'm thinking. A wall hanging is a definite consideration, but it must pack up into a journal to keep it safe when it's back in the cupboard. So I'm actually now, it's just come to my brain, thinking a bunting. So I could do it concertina style, but of course it would have a gap between each panel. So let me just grab some paper because I'm just sort of thinking something through here. What if it had the tie and each block hung on that? Okay. Now, the quantity, I'm not going to set any boundaries. I've got probably the opportunity to do 2 a month, so that would give me 12, which would be beautiful. If I want to stitch more, if I want to, do 20 of them, I doubt it. But maybe, who knows? It's sort of one of those things where if you do it in a couple of days and you're waiting for the next prompt, we'll do another one. So there's the potential that I could go up to 25, but that's good. So it gives me scope. Now, if each one of those sat back on themselves, I've now got the potential to turn it into a book with a closure, maybe a hard cover here, hard cover on the bottom, and no spine, or maybe I do a spine that then would protect the side, and all of this bunting strip would be tucked in there. I don't know. I'm thinking the book is a definite. Got to do a book. Storage reasons alone. But then if the book opened up to create this, I'm thinking that would be just fantastic. I can then attach it. Here's my Christmas shop experience coming out. I can attach that. Let's say I've got 2 windows, a wall. I can attach that on a window and drape it accordingly. So maybe, and then maybe have some ribbons coming down the side. So this bunting would actually have a bit of a feature on the side. So potentially I could, two options. I make these panels detachable so that if I want to move it to somewhere in the house where I don't have two windows, let's say it's a big sliding door and I just want the bunting to swing through the center. So there's an ability to extend or decrease. So maybe that strip, I need to have a think about how I make that so that it's universal, or do I just stop overthinking this and just do my strip and attach them all, and it is what it is. The length will vary according to how many I actually make. So that's also something to consider. So yeah, oh wow, this is going to be fantastic. I like how there's so many things I've got to nut out. The more I can throw at myself, the more I can challenge myself, the more fun this is going to be. So that's definitely a work in progress. The other thing that I'm thinking, let's say this has a beautiful stitchery on it, and that one, and it's an advent calendar counting down. I don't want to see that stitching until the morning that it's time for the reveal. So how I thought I'd get away with that, let's say that's the block. What I'm going to do is put a cover over it. So if I attach 4 buttons, which then allows me to go hunting for some gorgeous buttons, 4 buttons in the corner, and a second panel goes over it to disguise what's underneath. Now that second piece could have a hint of the colours that might be there. It might have a message. It might just have the number. Yeah, maybe just the number. Let's say that has a big, 1 on it. And then I unbutton it to reveal the block that's underneath. Yeah, I'm liking that idea. Okay. Yeah. That doesn't put too much pressure on me to, do another something stitchery here. I can just do a gorgeous number 1. I can use fabrics from anywhere to theme it. Maybe that number is a hint of what's behind. So if I do a blue or a pink or a red or a gold, because I want to make them all different. I've been thinking about just doing the red and green, traditional. Stunning. It will look amazing. Then I love the idea of the blues, and I'm thinking, no, it's something different. I'm going to do all blues. And then I'm like, nah, everyone's going to be doing these different combinations of Christmas colours, and I'm going to be there stuck in a colour scheme, and nah, it's not going to happen. And I've got so many different types of Christmassy fabrics that I'm going to drift across the lot. I'm going to break all the rules and allow myself to sort of creatively play. So that's where this bunting is a great idea, because I could do a pink and cream theme. I can do a red only with a hint of gold. I could do greens. I could do blah, 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 blah. So you can see why the bunting also allows me to sort of play a little bit. Sizing, I've been thinking about that, and I really like designing on an A4 page because it sort of gives you scope for space. And I really like the fact that when you do landscape, it actually looks gorgeous too, and you get a little bit more room to sort of play. And I started printing out some images of font, Merry Christmas, just in a font, because I'm thinking about my title page, and I think the first one just needs to say Merry Christmas. So maybe the 1st of December, you take the buttons undone, that panel comes off, and it just says Merry Christmas, and that's the first one, the title page. So I'm sort of looking at fonts now and how I word this, how I stitch it. Do I use fabric? Do I just embroider it? Then I was like, oh, maybe I could put sequins and beads through some of these letters. This one is a favourite. I've used it so many times in scrapbooking. It's everywhere on free domain sites. It's in Graphics Fairy. It's everywhere. It's just a classic image. You can get it off iStock. So if you just type in Merry Christmas fonts, sooner or later this will pop up. The next one I found was this one. Now, forget about the colours and the imagery, but what this is giving me is shapes to cut out of fabrics. For example, that. So I could trace that onto some tracing paper and then cut it out, and I've got a very good Y. There's my R, my E, and an M. So for fabric, this is a perfect font for that chunky, fat lettering, and it wouldn't require too much embroidery. It'd be just stitch it down. You could choose any colors and then pop it onto a background. So this is definitely a contender, and probably not as much work as this. I think I just love this part, but maybe it won't look as cool as it looks here because they've put all of this beautiful imagery around it. I don't know. That's a lot of work. That is a simple fix, and it gives me fantastic fonts. Even if I don't do it for the cover, it's giving me a font style that, let's say a prompt is snow, I could then write the word snow, especially once you trace around these letters a few times. You'll sort of get into the mood of the font. It'll give you a bit of an idea, where's an S, of what you need to draw, and you could easily reproduce that in any size because it's a nice bubbly fat prompt. Okay, so that's something to have in the repertoire if I need to write words or sayings. Okay, so that's that image. The next image is just classic cursive script. So once again, let's say I want to write "Let it snow" or a nice message. This is fantastic to have access and use because you could do couching for your letters where the script is very thin, and where it thickens up, this is classic calligraphy, where it thickens, you could satin stitch in there, you could bead in there, it'd just be beautiful. You could do normal embroidery for the words and make the Merry, the M, and the C very decorative with sequins. You could do something with that tail. So these fonts I've just printed off just to sort of help focus me into some directions when it comes to the wording, because I'm pretty sure there'll be some words and things that we can add to our blocks. So I've got those printed off in my pile of inspirations. I think now that I've finished yibby-yabbering, I'm pretty sure this is what I'm going to do. An advent calendar, how many days, who knows? It'll be made into a bunting that can be concertinaed back into a book, which will help me store it after Christmas. Now the book, I went hunting through my pile of books and I found this one. It's a pretty good size. It is 8 inches by 11. I think I'm going to need room. To do it any smaller for me, I think it's going to be really difficult to try and, wrangle it into a format. And I'm thinking landscape, it's really good. So this is going to be my book. I've got a red cover. Whether it's going to stay like this, who knows? The spine will be nowhere near wide enough. It's only 2 inches, so we'll definitely need to rethink that. But that doesn't matter because this thing, by the time it's finished, I don't know, it could be as thick as, it could be as thick as 11 inches. And then when I start thinking about this tie, maybe I've got to do it in 2 or 3 sections because I end up doing a heap of them and the weight on that cordage is just too much. So maybe I've got to break it down into 3 buntings with some on each one, and then maybe have a look around my house at where I'd probably hang it and design it for those windows. Yeah, anyway, so much to think about. It's fantastic. Thanks, girls. This is brilliant. We can really, sink our teeth into it. Now, I just wanted to quickly show you some of the supplies that I've been putting aside for the last week. I'm not committed to any of these colours, as you said, because I'm sort of want to drift. I will quickly show you a snap look at my red book journal. Now, this is all, as I just said, reds. So I know this is a favourite. This colour scheme is going to appear throughout it. It has to have a bit of a very much a red undertone. Every time I open this, I'm going, gee, I haven't finished that yet. I've got a pocket here, an embroidery yet to do. That would look good in my Christmas. Yep, I'm going to steal that. Now I'm pilfering from other projects. Yeah, that's going in my stash for Christmas. And you know what? I'm going to take this too. That's still a work in progress. I'm thinking of making a pocket there. It's definitely got those Christmas colours, so that's out. Oh, space for something in the future. I wonder what else is in here that I could pilfer. That's got potential. Okay, it's gone. It's gone. What else have I got? I'm glad I picked this up. It's giving me more bits and pieces that I can potentially use. No, there's nothing else. Oh, that's great. What a bonus. Okay. Yep, have I missed anything? Nope. Very good. All right, I digress. So I've got myself some little bits of embroidery. Bonus. I've also went through my linen cupboard and I found some of these pieces that I barely use, and I'm going to add them to my pile to cut up and access. Just some gorgeous machine embroidery. There's all sorts of elements there. This one here, I might just use, that much. I might use that much, but I'm happy enough to donate it to the cause. And I love this one because it's got this bauble. It's got this little gold element here, little holly tufts. So that's got also lots of potential. It's got a stain in the middle. You know how it goes. Terrible, terrible. Fabric-wise, now going back in my quilting days, I did a quilt out of this. Now this fabric would be quite a few years old now, so don't ask me the name of it. Someone may recognise it out there, but that was a quilt I did many, many moons ago. So I've got some scraps of that. So beautiful. Love that blue and the mustard together. Imagine that as your base colour scheme, and then you go hunting for those colours to build on it. Beautiful. These fabrics that I'm showing you next are just from Spotlight in Australia. They were out last year. I presume they'll probably bring them out again. So any Aussie girls, if you see anything here that catches your eye, Spotlight. You may even find them in there on a bolt of fabric in their reduced section. I had a bit of a look myself, and there were some Christmas fabrics there. So you might have a store near you that has some of these kicking around. So that's Spotlight fabric. I then picked up on a recent holiday to Hervey Bay some little packs of fabric from Dewdrop Inn, and they are a range of some retros. This was a silver black pack that she had, and this was a candy theme pack, that one there. And then these are just, I found them in my cupboard as just some random colours that would suit. And that little one, I think that come from Dewdrop as well. Now this one is a Spotlight fabric from last year. This one is, and so is this one. I use these to cover some Christmas journals. So I do have a little bit of, larger pieces of Christmas, which will be good because if I've got to do covers and, things to hide the stitchery underneath, that will work really, really well. The other thing I picked up, which I haven't opened yet because I wanted to do it with you guys, is this jelly roll. This, to me, is just gorgeous. I love how they've taken it from blue to red to grey. So I'm just going to open it. It's Moda. It was actually reduced too because I picked it up in February as just a colour pack. It was $72 down to $60, which still is so much money for fabric. But anyway, we won't complain. These expensive hobbies we have. Holly Woods is the name of it, by Three Sisters. I'm going to say it's still out there because they this was only this year that I purchased this, unless she's had this on her shelf for a little while. So I'm going to just slide that off and we'll have a little look. I'm guessing it's holly themed. Oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Let's have a look at all those blues. Yeah. Oh, they're like an inky blue. How gorgeous is that? You know, I could just work in this colour scheme. Oh, the reds. Then we get into the golds with a hint of red or no red at all. Oh, how beautiful. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do? I am going to commit my whole colour scheme to this. And from here, I will go and look for things that complement this. So if I want to do a gold, oh boy, let's just look. See, I can still use some of those blues. I could certainly work mustard in. It does eliminate those, but that's not a bad thing. It eliminates probably those, also not a bad thing. It eliminates those. I could probably sneak a little bit of the greens and that into that, but no. Oh gosh. Okay, something to think about. That will certainly work. That will work. We're now looking at that, and that will work. Okay, so that's a definite. Oh boy, I need some more thinking and contemplating. But you know, this could be even made into the cordage that holds the bunting as well. This could be used to edge pages around my stitcheries to finish them as well. That's it. I've made a decision. I am going to use this as my colour scheme. It allows me to go from blue to red to golds. I can use themes then that have a hint of blue or a lot of blue, a hint of red or a lot of red, and into then these soft golden tones with a hint of red. Done. Done, done. So I can still use some of these spotlight ones. The only thing that I won't be able to use is green. No green. But we'll see. We can break the rules. Definitely no black and silver. That one could come in maybe in a small portion. I might need to, if I use something like this, maybe I've got to tea stain the fabric to sort of get it into the tones of this. But at the moment, I'm going to put these back in my cupboard and not look at them. I'm going to put this blue back in my cupboard. I'm going to put that away. I'll keep this out because I love how they've used words and birds. So maybe I can disguise some green in there. Holly, you got to have green holly. Oh boy, oh boy. I'm going to leave that out. I'm going to put that away. I'll leave that out. I'll leave that out. Yeah, see that could at a pinch work. Maybe I can do a hint of green. Just not that green. that appley green. I've got to keep it elegant, I think, with this, and go real, a green that suits this tone. That'd be the trick, like a, let me have a look at this fabric again over here. Like they could stay at a pinch. Yeah, okay. They would blend if there were just a hint of them. And I guess they're covered with the front. And then if they popped here and there, I don't know. I've got to have a think about this. There's a red. I think they're out. I'm going to eliminate those fabrics. You know what this will help me do is just slow my brain down a little bit. Blue's wrong. The reds are okay, but they are a bit bright. Yeah. Yeah. No, they're gone. Okay. I'm restricting myself here, which is not a bad thing because, you know, otherwise it'll just get out of control. It sure will. So we've got a bit of a colour palette coming. I can add a heap of doilies and lace and vintage elements that I've collected easily into this. It allows me to drift from blues to reds. Yep, loving it. So we've made, oh, another thing I wanted to show you. Hang on one moment. I nearly forgot. I went to my Christmas shop and I went around and had a look at all of the things that are within my business that maybe I could drag into this project and use. And now these are common things that you will see for sale out in all of the Christmas shops. So I've got a bag of goodies here. Now, I went to the stocking department, and at Stockings, let me get rid of some of this. Now, it may not match my theme, but it might give you some ideas. I'm going to leave that there as my colour palette. These are just some general stockings that we sell. And I thought, well, here we've got fabric. Here we've got some snowflakes. We've got some fluff here on the cuff of this stocking. So that's got potential. Then I found this one with the sequins already stitched on it. Beautiful. That would be something interesting. And on the back of it is some felt that could be used. So that one caught my eye and this one caught my eye. I don't know if I'll use them because I'm sort of narrowing it down to a theme, and that's a little bit cherry red compared to that. So he probably won't end up being chopped. I then found this one. Now it's got a pre-printed message. It's got a Hessian-y fabric there that would be beautiful stitched. Not Hessian, what's the word? Linen. But it's coarse. It feels like a Hessian, but it looks like linen. Oh, what's the name of it? I've just gone blank. Anyway, doesn't matter. So that was an option that I grabbed, and then this one. That certainly could work in with my theme. So maybe have a look around for some Christmas stockings. Now it's Christmas in July at the moment, so a lot of companies will have things available for businesses wanting to celebrate Christmas in July, say pubs and clubs wanting to decorate. So you might be lucky enough to snag some fabrics in the way of stockings out there. So have a look at Christmas shop products. Now, another thing I grabbed is, I'm going to make a mess now because these have glitter on them. Hang on a moment, let me just put that fabric now out of the way. One thing about my business is there's a lot of glitter, and as you will see, I tried to contain it, so I'm going to unwrap it sitting on this paper. Now we sell a lot of flowers, so for people to put in their Christmas tree. On the 1st of July, I posted a video with a bit of a tour of one of our stores. And these flowers are part of a big resource we use to decorate. So trees, garlands, wreaths, and our customers can use them to decorate their homes. But what I was thinking is I bought a couple home. Look at the glitter. Oh, This is my world. I have glitter everywhere through my house because of my business. See these? These are a velveteen that the factory has pressed with a hot press and embossed the outline or the shape of a leaf on there for me. They've then gone and edged it with some glue and added the glitter, some sequins. So these poinsettia flowers, they're everywhere. These are my own design myself, but everyone in the Christmas industry uses these. So you should be able to find these as well on websites for Christmas shops around. So I'm thinking I can use some of those. Then I grabbed this one. It's a fabricy felt that they've then just glittered. So I could cut my own petals out of this. I'm just trying not to make a mess. There's a fabric net that they've dipped in a glue and then glittered. Look at my hands. This one here is a champagne flower. Same principle. I could cut little leaves out of that and, you know, add them to my work. Excuse me. My throat is still not right after that COVID. Shocking. And a white one, which has a real nice shimmer. And the last one is this gold one. So a wonderful source of fabric. That one there, they've put on there for me a gold leaf. Well, it's not gold leaf as we know it. It's like a foil that has been heat pressed onto this leaf. So that too would be an interesting element to add to our piece. If you want to get some shimmer and sparkle into your work, poinsettia flowers from Christmas shops, you know, are something that, you know, you might be able to use. Now, if anyone in Australia can't find these in their local Christmas shop, and please support your local Christmas shop. You don't need to come looking me down anyway. I'm in Brisbane, so I know there's Christmas shops in Melbourne, Sydney, and then there's little ones that are all over Australia in the Blue Mountains and down in the snowy regions of Tassie and Victoria. There's one at Tyro. There's, I think, one now up in Cairns. Whether they're open, I don't know. Whether they're trading all year like myself and some of the bigger ones, I don't know. But they probably have websites where you could maybe pick up some of these elements. If you can't get anything, you can drop over to my website and we're more than happy to, you know, ship out to you. But please support your local people first before you know, come to me, because everyone needs a dollar here and there. So, yeah, I just wanted to say that this is not about promoting me or my store at all. It's about you going and finding your local Christmas store and supporting them, because I can guarantee, I know most of the owners, and there are families, Australian families behind them, all of them. None of them are international big entities. They are just mums and dads with a Christmas shop. So I just wanted to get that message out there. If you get stuck, I'm more than happy to help you. Go to, you know, my website. Maybe go to my video on the 1st of July this year and have a look at that tour. There might be something you see that might inspire you, and you can make contact with the store and my staff will help you. But please, leave me to your last. Go to your local Christmas shops. Those in America and Britain, you'll have, I'm sure, Christmas businesses around that can support you. We don't ship overseas within our business of Christmas. The freight is ridiculous. The time frames are ridiculous. And it's just too hard. When parcels go missing at Christmas, it's just a nightmare. So we are Australian only shipping. So I think that's all I wanted to say about that. But I hope that gave you some ideas. I love the stocking idea. I think that is a really good way of getting blingy fabrics to help you build up your themes. And you may already own stockings that no longer are being used. I'm sure you know, you've had some kids and you've had stockings and done all that, and they're sitting in your cupboard. Drag them out. And if there's nothing, you know, emotionally tying you to the stocking, well, let's give it a new life, chop it up and add it to your piece, because I'd say your pieces will end up being decorations throughout your home at Christmas anyway. So what better way to pop the stockings or anything kids have made? You might be able to add that to your pieces. I'm going off on a tangent now. Okay, I think that's all I wanted to talk about. I'm pleased I did this because I've actually got my head into a bit of a, what's the word? Law and order. This fabric, once again, is Hollywoods, a jelly roll. I'd be pretty confident it is still available. I'm going to do the bunting and somehow contain this bunting into a book that will wrap around it to store it for Christmas. So there you go. I better cross the word green out there with, I'm going to cross it out with a dotted line because it might come in, but I need to be very careful that it's subtle, not crazy, because I'm going to stay within this theme, I think. But then what about pink? Oh, goodness. All right, I'm going to stop the video at this point and we'll see what happens. Let's jump on the train, the Christmas train to the North Pole, and enjoy the journey. Thanks everyone for popping in. I'd love to see your comments. You're probably going to think, gee, your mind's a mixed up mess. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. All right, everyone, stay safe, look after yourself, and I'll see you all in the next video. Merry Christmas.